Hey guys, it's Abs,
Nene,
and Nick, and you're listening to
Real Sip.
Alright, y'all. If you missed our last podcast episode, go ahead and hit that up real quick. If you don't already know, we're three friends for college who want to share our experience about real life situations in hopes that maybe we can help one of you listeners out there. Now, today's topic is...
what do you expect from your father?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and kick this off. Just to give a little background, I lost my father back in 2010, so this subject is really close to me. I feel like what I expected from him, he didn't really give to me when he was alive. So I expected him to show me, how I'm gonna go into a relationship. I expected him to teach me how a female is supposed to be treated. So when I went out into the world, I could handle it, and I could understand what I'm supposed to get as instead of what I'm actually getting. I can understand that, a man's supposed to open doors and pay for meals and, just treat his woman right. And I feel like that's a father's responsibility to do. How about y'all? How y'all think about it?
Well, I feel like what you expect from your father is to be most importantly your protector. As a father or a dad, you are in charge of the household. Not in charge as you boss people around. You're pretty much the protector of the household. When things are looking like they need a handyman or, someone to be there to protect them from any type of harm or heartbreaks, it's from a boy, you're there to give them advice, what you expect from a man and stuff. Some females, I was raised by a single mother. But granted, even though being raised by a single mother, I know somewhat what to expect from a man versus what not to expect from a man. Because, I also had uncles who was there to help, guide me through the right way. My father wasn't there in my life. Honestly, he was in and out when he feel like he pleased. And that's very toxic and confusing to a child. And that's what some of them need to understand that. What you know?
I agree with what both of you guys are saying. I guess, for me, there isn't a list of things that I expect from a father. It's more so of things what I imagine a father is supposed to be. And that's just because growing up, my father was absent in my life. I recently actually just saw him for the first time. But that's just another story. But I always imagined that a father was basically what Nene was saying, to be there, he's supposed to be the protector of the house. And growing up, that's what I felt like a father should be, someone who's protecting the house, who's going out there every day to make sure that he's providing for his family, who's supposed to be his daughter's first love, who's able to teach her about relationships, the same thing that Abs was saying about the whole relationship thing. That's what I imagine a father should be. Now, of course, we all didn't get basically that list achieved, but yeah, a father is generally supposed to be there for the family. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way around it. A lot of times we see fathers who are present, but at the same time they're still absent. And to me, you're no better than the father who's completely absent. If you're going to be present in a child's life and still not be involved with that kid or help that kid grow up and become a better adult who can make great life decisions, relationship-wise and friendship-wise too, because that goes a long way too, having a father that takes a big toll on you as a girl child, when you're going into relationships and what you expect from your male partners.
I think that's very true, because even though my dad was present, he did live in the household with us for most of my life, he wasn't present. You know what I'm saying? He was there, but he didn't really involve himself in our lives. So therefore, I felt like I was raised by a single mom, even though I wasn't technically.
Right.
So I totally get what you're saying. If you're gonna be there, be there.
Right. And that's
be involved. Yeah.
That's what I think. growing up in this time frame, well, this era that we're growing up in, there's a lot of fathers who are absent from their children's lives, and they don't understand that it affects a child long term. Like, I'm a prime example. Like, I'm a product of that. Let me just use that term. Like, I am a product of not having a father inside of the household who was absent my whole entire life. And I wish, like, there are things I wish I had my father, because there are things that I had to experience or certain situations that I had to go through. And I wish I had a father that I could lean on to be like, hey, Dad, this, and this is going on. Or, hey, Dad, I need you to, you know, step up for me, to help me, to mold me into a better individual. But even outside of, you know, him not being present in my life, I still feel like there are people who filled that gap and who has helped me become the person that I am today.
Yeah, there's all different types of father. Father doesn't have to be biological, but he can also be a coach.
Yes.
He can be a
Yes.
uncle.
Yes.
You know, a close person to the family. Like, my closest father, I can say, was my coach. Throughout high school, he really was a very inspirational father to me. Even if I wasn't his own child,
spiritual father.
Spiritual father. He really
we
was.
Had the same.
Yeah,
same high school coach.
But it's like with him, he really had helped me through high school. Like, he taught me like, what to expect from a man and everything. Because, you know, he didn't know much about women, but he know enough that how a man should treat a woman. Which is true. Like, because, you know, some people, even with people with fathers, I will have to address too. Some people with fathers are ungrateful. And you should be very grateful if you have a father. Even if he yells at you, ground you. But you got to understand, like, at least he's there to show you, like, how to guide you to the way you need to be guided as a man or a woman. Because you will be amazed how some dads can help a girl achieve to a woman. Because some girls are too loose these days. Way too loose.
Right. Definitely,
and
I agree.
Some guys,
girl.
and some guys don't even remember how to be a man anymore. They're so quick to like sag, or they want to go to jail, they want to sell drugs, but then it's like when real hits them, they wish they didn't do that. Or some of them just don't care enough because they said, I want to live this rebel life. But it's like, then you should be appreciative that you have a father that like guides you to how to become a better man, how to become a woman, how to like, you know, how to achieve your goals career-wise. Even if you go to school or don't go to school, there for you. It's like great. Like, granted, my dad is not dead, or I didn't live like Abs or Nick. My dad was there. By the same time, he wasn't there. It was like practically he was alive but not alive. He only came when things was good. When he realized like I was getting my bachelor's or I was starting a job. That's the kind of father I had. That's when he jumped in. When he see like we was getting a scholarship, we was making names for ourselves. That's when he jumped in. And to me, that's toxic. I don't need toxic in my life. At first, it felt good because I was young. I was like, yeah, I got my father in. But then that's when I started realizing like, no, enough is enough. I can't keep torturing myself to paint this beautiful picture that I have a father. I have a dad who brought me to the world, but I don't have a father who guided me of what I was expecting from anything in life. I had a mom who drove me crazily to make sure I was a strong, independent woman. But don't get me wrong, just because you're independent doesn't mean you don't need a spouse. Don't let what you went through to your father affect you through your marriage or for your future.
Yeah. It's like that, what's that saying where they're like, any man can be a dad, but it takes a real man to be a father.
That is true.
And that's kind of true. Like, you know, anybody can be a dad. Like, anybody can go around and sleep with whoever, and the girl ends up pregnant. Now, hey, you're a dad, but actually stepping up and becoming a man, saying, hey, okay, I'm gonna be there for that kid. I'm gonna make sure that kid never wants for anything. Now, that's the true definition of a father.
Like Nene was saying, our high school coach really showed me what I was craving from my dad. And it took me, I love my dad when he was here. And, you know, I always say I love my dad, but I didn't like him. Because if he wasn't related to me, I would have had nothing to do with him. I would have chosen not to have nothing to do with him because I didn't like the person that he was. But I loved him because, you know, that was my dad. You know, he gave me life. I love him because of that. But I felt like he didn't give the effort that I needed him to give for me to reciprocate liking him. You know what I mean? And I just couldn't. I couldn't even acknowledge him for the last couple of years of his life as being around me, because I literally, it was like, if he would talk to me, I did not hear him. When I became a teenager, he did not exist in my world. So when I lost him, it was hard for me, because I was like, man, I just lost somebody I love. But I came to the realization, like, I didn't even like him, you know? And that was hard for me, because I lost him. And, you know, you didn't get to say the last, goodbyes, and I love him and stuff. And I was still angry with him even after he was gone. And that's why I'm saying that it's a longing effect that even after you're gone, you can still have on your children.
Now,
you know
as far as being angry, you can be angry regardless. Yes, we all understand why angry, because they wasn't there. But it's like at the same time, you have to learn to forgive them. You know, and that's
hard.
You know, it is hard to forgive somebody who wasn't there. But at the same time, you do gotta learn to forgive, because you don't want them to have that hold on you to succeed in life. Even when you are successful, you still have that anger holding on. Then you're never gonna get where you want to go. In life. You have to learn to like let go, and just don't. I didn't say forget, because that would be your drive where you want to go.
Exactly.
I think that's what keeps me held back. I think because when my dad passed away, I literally was like, what's the point of living? What's the point of having a job? What's the point of doing this? What's the point of doing that? When all of us die eventually, you know what I mean? It kind of put me in a bad place. I went into a really bad depression after he died, but I think I'm still dealing with that. You know, I say I've forgiven him, but I don't know if I really have. I really haven't evaluated myself to really see if I have truly forgiven him. I will never forget, you know, it's been 8 years since, you know, so, but I feel like he will always have a place in my heart. I love my dad. I don't want anybody to get that wrong. I really do love my dad, but I'm still getting to the place of where I remember him to like him.
Well, if you're going to keep having that same, like, anger, then that's why you're going to keep dating the same people.
Most likely.
So it's like at this point, I think the dating should be on hold until you learn to forgive him for who he was. Because like you said, it's been 8 years and you're still holding the same grudge.
I don't feel it as if I'm holding a grudge, though. I'm just dealing with it. I'm still dealing with it. I'm not holding a grudge. I don't have no hard feelings towards my dad.
Then what's the difference of dealing with it and holding a grudge?
I have to go through everyday life and deal with it. Like, that's just what's going on right now.
Dealing with what?
Everything. Him passing and him not being there and me just not understanding why.
Why he's not there?
Why he wasn't there when I needed him.
Oh, okay. I see.
Why he wasn't the that
why
makes sense.
Why he wasn't the dad that you needed.
Because
when he was here.
When he was here.
Sometimes with some people, they don't know how to play the role. Like they said, when you have a kid, there's no rule book.
Exactly.
There's no rule
That's
book.
true.
It's like the only thing you can think is like, oh my gosh, what can you do? Of course, the first thing you're gonna freak out because you know now you have someone else to take care of besides yourself or your spouse or whoever. So it's like no rule book. That's why it's like the only thing is like because sometimes we all question. Even when my dad's alive, he can't even answer the question up to this day. Why he in there? You know, so it's like, who cares? At this point, it's like, yeah, it's been 8 years. Why he wasn't there? Why he wasn't there? Da 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 da. We can play that song all day
long.
But it's at this point, you just gotta like let it go.
Yeah. There's no.
I know it sounds harsh, like
a situation.
There's no point holding on to it.
Yeah.
If you're never gonna get the answer. At this point, you take that as your drive.
Right.
That's what you been driving me lately.
Lately.
But before you remember when I couldn't hold a job or that was why, because I was in such a big depression that I didn't even see the point. Right. But now I'm driving, I'm getting the job, I'm trying to, you know, get my student loans down to get back in school, and I'm striving because I'm not only thinking about, why do this because I'm gonna die anyway. Yeah. I'm living now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what you're supposed to do, man. You gotta live for now. Like, this topic is just
interesting.
It's very interesting.
Hard.
Like it's hard because I mean, normally I have a lot to say, but you can't have a lot to say about someone
That
who
you barely
wasn't
know?
there
Yeah.
or someone you barely know.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier at the beginning, like I recently just met my dad after 26 years. And what I think the thing that triggered or bothered me the most was the fact that he made it seem like it was my fault that the journey took 26 years. When in fact he knew where I was at the whole entire time. I was a child. Now that I'm an adult, yes, it's easier to reach out, but I feel like, why should I reach out to someone who barely, cares about me like that? I don't know. I mean, he could possibly care, but I feel like he doesn't.
Well, you shouldn't have that mindset, because at the end of the day, we don't know what happened from that
That's
time
true.
to this time.
I mean,
at
yeah, that's
least-
what I'm saying.
And
Like,
nobody's trying to tell her.
it's too many stories
At this
to
point,
it. And
even if it's too many stories, you just make a new story. It's no
That's
point,
what
like I addressed to Ab, there's no point of keep holding on to something.
I mean, I'm not holding on to that because, like I said, it's just like when I first met him, that's what it was. Like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, you should have just straight went off," but
No point.
there's no point in going off at that moment until you start asking questions. Like, you have to sit down. That's like another,
Like you said, it's been a
topic
long
of
time, because you never
discussion.
know his personality. Maybe he wanted to fight for you, but they probably said something.
Yeah.
Everyone's personality
You never
is
know,
different.
yeah.
Some people is like, okay, I don't want no conflict. Let me just.
Yeah, that's the
Going
type of
back.
person I am, and
And
I see that in him too. That
Yeah.
he's that type of person. Like, whoa, I don't want nothing to do with
Yeah.
it. But at the same time, it's just one of those situations, topic. And as the only reason why, like, I feel some type of way about it, really, is
It
because
took this long.
yes, and there are things that occurred when I was younger that I needed him, and in some way, it's like that blame. You're pointing that finger, like, yo, it's your fault. But in actuality, it's really not anyone's fault.
But the person
But
who
the
made
person
that happen
who-
to you.
Yeah,
Because at the same time, like, as a father, if something did happen to you as a child, as a father, he would be there to protect you.
right.
For goodness sake, he literally waited at the terminal for you.
Yeah, he did, and
That's
like
a
for a
little
while,
sad.
I really thought he wasn't gonna show up.
Oh my
Like, I remember I was texting Abs and Nina. I'm like, okay, he said he's coming, he's on his way. I'm like, I don't know if he's coming, but and then like it was getting later, and I was just like, oh man, he's not here yet. And I was like, well, I don't think he's coming. I told my other friend who was with me at the time, I was like, well, I don't think he's coming. And then before I knew it, like I had got a message, and he was like, oh, I'm here. So there was no need for me to be bitter and nasty about that situation because, honestly, yeah, he may have been absent, but it's like one of those moments that I've been waiting for my entire life.
And on that note, I'm sorry, guys, but we have to end this podcast right now.
But that's all the time we have. All right, but if you liked our podcast, please don't be afraid to comment below, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and share with everybody you know. Okay, and again, y'all, our email is realsip3@gmail.com. If y'all have any questions, concerns, or anything, we're gonna try to get this video up within the next 2-week time frame. So please bear with us. We're just trying to make sure everything goes smoothly. And again, we thank y'all for listening to
Real Sip.